It's once again time for more Pentiment. I thought the game would be finished after we completed the murder investigation of the Baron, but I see now that's not the case. We're just on to Act 2. It's now 7 years later. We've come back to Tossing as an older man. We now have an apprentice in tow. We've spent several of our last few years in France as an artist, so we've leveled up our French game. We're now very famous and very celebrated, and it looks like we have a fancy pin on the front of our clothing, which might be the Baron's friendship pin that he gave us in the beginning of the game. Or it may not be. We've come back. Brother Piero has died. I can only assume that something's going to happen again. Feels strange being back in Curacao, back in Tassing. I haven't talked to anyone here in years. I just stopped by Klaus's house to see how he's been. So Klaus Drucker, our old friend. Apparently I've absorbed some concepts of Christian mysticism via the heretical books I found in Curacao Scriptorium, which is interesting. Is that because of the French book that we picked up before? There's now a new house here for someone called Balthazar. The Golden Hand Inn, that's new as well. I think that's where we're staying at the moment. Martin Bauer is now in his own house where Franz Bauer used to be. Everything here looks the same as you'd expect. We have no people. Account of the Labyrinth of Books. Something we looked at earlier in the library. Just trying to clear our glossary. So we've cleared everything in the notebook. It's time to go find Klaus Drucker. The room is sparse compared to what I'm used to. Hannah. I don't think she was here 7 years ago. Hello, Andreas. How are you enjoying your stay? It's been wonderful, Hannah. Thank you. Oh, good. You're in the best room we have. I'm glad it's to your liking. Was there anything else? No, thank you. Until later. Till then. Our apprentice found it all very exciting that we'd heard about, or that we were involved in someone's death before. We're not very happy as an artist. Killian, that's a new person as well. Good day, Master Mahler. Ah, Master Mahler, is it? Hello and welcome to the Golden Hand. I am Nico Berger. I own this land house and run it with my wife Hannah and our son Killian. I believe my boy helped you to your room. Is it to your liking? It's lovely, thank you. I'm glad to hear it, glad to hear it. When you arrived in town, one of the locals said you lived here a few years back. Yes, I worked for the Abbey as an artist. Ah, I see. I heard that you were involved in solving a murder. Yes, out of necessity. The wrong man was being accused of the crime. A friend of mine. I heard it was the prior at the abbey, that the Baron was a sacrifice in some diabolical spell the brother was crafting. No, he wasn't casting a spell. The Baron wasn't a sacrifice. Where did you hear that? Oh, bits and pieces that people have said here and there. Sounds like the story has changed in the last 7 years. I meant no offense, Master Mahler. I just find it to be an interesting story. I have to go. Of course, of course. Again, I meant no offense. Well, I'll leave you to your day. Until later. Until then. Samuel, another new person. Hello, Andreas. Brother Wachlav uses time in almost all of the Abbey's cooking, maybe because it grows so easily here. There's Otto. Oh, and is that Martin? Just do it. You know it's the right thing. I don't understand why this is so hard for you. Otto, I'm scared. It's dangerous to cross the abbot. Would you prefer the alternative? You don't need to do that, Otto. I understand. I'm just saying... Andreas? Andreas Mahler? It's good to see you again, old friend. Otto, you're looking well. This is my apprentice, Casper Ziegler from Salzburg. Good day. Ah, that answers that. I thought he might be your son. You don't grow them that fast, even in Nuremberg. They grow fast enough around here. Eve and I just had our first, little Otto, though we call him Ertz. Congratulations to you both, that's wonderful news. Thank you, it's been a trial with Dad gone. Clara and Ursula help out where they can. I'm sorry to hear about your father. That's life. At least he's with the Lord now, free of his aches and pains. I know Ava wrote to you about my father's death, Andreas. Why didn't you write back? I'm sorry. Things got busy after I left Hassing. So we've been a poor correspondent. Sorry to interrupt, but I should be heading back. I'm pretty sure this is Martin, but it's being kept concealed from us. I feel like I should remember your face, but I can't place it. Oh, don't trouble yourself. It's me, Martin. Remember? Oh, yes, of course. Hello, Martin. Hello. Sorry to run, but I have to get these sheep back to the farm. So at least he's not telling us to eat shit now. As much as I love whiling away the hours in the meadow, I have a lot to attend to. Otto, I'll see you at the meeting later. Andreas, until later. The last time I saw Martin was in this meadow. He was sneezing. Seemed to hate being here. Even his mother cat said that he always sneezed when he was in the meadow. Strange. Is it strange, or are you just confused? No, I remember that too. I know what I saw. Are you sure? Good to see you, Martin. Has he been replaced by a doppelganger? Pain in my ass. What's this about a meeting? picked an interesting time to visit. Come by the town commons in a while. I think you'll be interested to hear what I have to say. I didn't realize you were in the business of giving speeches. I'll definitely attend. Sounds good. Till later, then. So we now have a new quest. I'll head there after I talk to Klaus. We have Ursula here, even though I don't think we've seen her yet. Ah, the many-petaled cinquefoil. Grows so easily, some consider it a weed. Schlau is still around. Very good. What a stunning collection of wildflowers. They all grow so plentifully in the meadow. Guess the alternate explanation is that Martin, like, grew out of his allergies. That can happen. You know, my brother, when we were kids, was allergic to kiwi, and then he grew out of it. So, probably slightly more plausible than Martin being replaced by a doppelganger, but then again, he is oddly polite now. So we can't get into anything up here. Not yet, anyway. Too innocent. That's new. And that's the thing that Lucky was talking about, that the mysterious note mentioned. And who knows, a lot of people might have kids that are dying. When Father Garno's new restrictions, the townsfolk can't even gather sticks without a fee. Damn, so he's just gotten worse over the years. Andreas, I'd heard you were back in Tausing. God bless you. God bless you, Father Thomas. It is good to see you again. Hopefully this visit will be less eventful than your last. Tausing has enough going on as it is. We have our bonfire for St. John's Eve tomorrow night. People get up to all sorts of mischief. And then it's my job to hear their confessions in the days that follow. Not to mention the grumbling the peasants are making. That's just talk, brother. No need to scare our guests with such things. Sure, if there is trouble, Master Mahler will be the first to stick his nose in it. Probably true. It's easy enough for you to come and go. You don't have to live with the consequences. After Frank was executed, Father Abbot made Mathieu the new prior. Frank may have been annoying, but Mathieu is even worse. Thanks for that. It would have been better for everyone if you'd simply allowed Brother Piero to die. After all, he only had a few years left anyway. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Save the scripture for someone who cares. I just wanted you to know how much destruction you left in your wake. Friends, there's no need for such ire. Forgive me, Father Thomas. I let my passions get the better of me. Besides, that's not even why I came down here. So Brother Guy hates us even more than he did before. I actually came to speak to you on the abbot's behalf, Andreas. Father Gerno would like to invite you to come to the library tomorrow morning if you're interested in purchasing some of our books. Oh, wonderful. Fantastic. Wait. Are things so bad the abbot has to sell off Kearsal's greatest treasures? The abbey needs the money more than it needs insane parchment. No one values these books anymore, except perhaps you. The library is not quite ready yet, as it does not see much use. If you could come by tomorrow morning, Mother Illuminata can show you what's available. Mother Illuminata? Yes, since Mother Cecilia passed a few years ago. She seems young to have passed away. How did she die? Peacefully, in her sleep. So, tomorrow morning? Yes, I can't wait. Calm yourself. There'll be time enough for excitement tomorrow. And Andreas, I apologize for my harsh words before. It was rash. Brother Pierre was a pious man and a skilled artist. We miss him. Well, I'm not gonna be a dick about it. I appreciate you saying that. I miss him too. Excellent. I'm so glad you two were able to work things out. Oh, Father Thomas, do you have a moment to speak inside the church? Yes, I think so. Why? A private matter. Oh, of course. They're definitely up to something. Until tomorrow. God bless you, Andreas. Interesting stuff. Looks like, I forget if his name's Peter or Paul, but the kid that we encouraged to be an artist, he's added some more drawings. At least some of the older people are still around. If she's still here. All her little wood statues have gone away though. Almost no one's out on the town. They must all be getting ready to hear Otto speak. Rothaus construction is going smoothly. I wonder if they'll finish it before winter. This is like the town hall, so they must have a new mayor type thing going on. It went away before I could go to the glossary, but yes, Rathaus, a community hall where people meet, typically a council that governs day-to-day affairs under the authority of the Lord. Interesting, so there's like a new government going on. Looks like they have a new kid, Magdalene. Bah! Andreas. I'm sorry, Klaus. I know it's been a long time. 7 years. 7 years and nothing from my friend Andreas. Damn. So we've been an awful correspondent. We just left and we're like, yeah, never gonna speak to these people again. First Bert, then Marie just after Magdalene was born. Wow, so he lost his son and his wife. My wife always thought highly of you. I can't believe you didn't write back after I told you they had passed. I'm sorry, I should have written. Yes, you should have. Too late for that now, though. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, hello. She likes you. Your business seems to have grown. What are you printing? The 12 articles. They were originally written by Schwabian peasants who were demanding changes from their lords. Freedom from serfdom, freedom to hunt and use the woods as God intended, freedom from compulsory labor. Abolition of the inheritance tax, fair appraisal of rent, the return of property to common use and ownership. Bavaria isn't Schwabia, but their complaints are just as valid for the peasants of Tassing. Ah, so this is Otto's cause. He's caught your ear already, The abbot has been squeezing the peasants for years. Now he's squeezing the townsfolk, and we're pushing back. Their cause is righteous, Andreas. If you haven't seen the Gartner's lately, you should visit them. And Otto had you print these? Yes. Why? Well, I didn't think he could read. He can't, but just about everyone else in town can. He speaks, I print. Just trying to do my part, I suppose. I'm sorry, but I'm still not in the mood for this late reunion. Come back for dinner tomorrow. You should go to the Commons, hear what Otto has to say. It's worth hearing. Let's try not to ditch him for dinner tomorrow. Of course. I will see you then. Be good while we're gone, Magdalene. Will you be good? Gab gab go. just skipped past the eating hour, apparently. A cold reunion. Klaus wasn't happy to see me. I probably should have written back to him when he contacted me about Marie and Bert. Nothing to be done about it now. And there's a cute drawing here of Magdalene. I mean, it's surprising that Andreas would just be like, yeah, let me go pay Klaus a visit. And meanwhile, he's never talked to him in the 7 years. Should we do the whole tour of everything again? Kind of suspect that everything will still be locked until we go and attend this speech. You know, maybe Andreas would be happier with his life if he invested in meaningful relationships with people instead of just focusing on his job. Yeah, I think everyone is at the Commons listening to Otto. So many people. Everyone listen. We all know why we're here. Nothing I'm going to say will be a surprise. Nothing I'm going to say hasn't already been spoken behind closed doors, whispered to your neighbors. Nothing I'm going to say is untruthful, so it's time we started saying it openly. Year after year, the Abbey has found new ways to tax the peasants. Piece by piece, the Abbey has taken away our rights to use God's forest to support our families. Law after law gets heaped upon us, restrictions on how we can pay rent, limits on where we can move, who we can wed. And now the death tax, which once claimed only our best animal and garment, takes half our estate. No consideration for widows, no consideration for children. What about the town council, the Rathaus? Surely that is a sign that the abbot wishes to share his power, to listen to our grievances. You have a good heart, Ulrich. You always want to see the best in people. But no. The council is a way for the abbot to divide us, to pit a favored few against the many. This is not charity. No, only greed and desperation drive Father Gernot. We'd think that if the abbot could, he'd steal a dead man's soul from heaven itself. And when we protested, what did Father Gernot do? He locked the shrine of St. Moritz. He won't allow the people of this town, the farmers of this land, to pray before the relic. Now, when we most need the intercession of our saint, the abbot has shut us out. Father Gernot's actions aren't just. They aren't Christian. We've endured this abuse for too long. It's time we let the abbot know we won't take it anymore. Too right. Hear, hear. Yes. This has to stop. Let's fix this. Stop. This is foolish. Soldiers are already patrolling nearby towns. If you push against the abbey, you'll incur the Duke's wrath. You could get the town razed and everyone killed. Hannah's right. The Duke is a powerful force in Bavaria. You're playing a dangerous game, Otto. You lot are no match for trained soldiers. If you don't relent, you'll be ground into dust like the Swabian peasants. We could always grind up you instead, Lennart. They might be right if there are already soldiers about. I don't know about this. We must stand for what is right. God is on our side. Don't be shy. Speak up if you have cause. We won't be overrun. The peasants of Salzburg were able to take the city and have their cause heard. If the people can get the Archbishop of Salzburg to listen to them, then we can do the same with the abbot. Master Andreas, do you think my family in Salzburg is alright? Don't know, Casper, but we can find out. Alright. Enough is enough. We can't stand by while the abbot continues treating us poorly. People all over Schwabia are taking back their God-given rights. Why shouldn't we do the same? A righteous cause. Martin's right. We deserve better. We can do this. Well spoken, Martin. Everyone ought to consider what he said. Martin has proved dependable these last few years. But if the words of men can't persuade you, perhaps a sign from a greater power will. The abbot may have locked us out of our saint's shrine, but God has shown me that he is with us. I think that's all I should say for now. Thank you all for coming. Interesting, so there's like a revolution brewing. Good day, Andreas. Clara, it's been too long. It's lovely to see you again. Hello, Andreas. I'm surprised to see you after your long absence from passing. At this rate, we thought we'd never see you again. I was gone too long. I'm sorry for not sending word of my arrival. You certainly did pick an odd time to visit. We're in the middle of a strange season. Ah, you found the Gärtners. Your speech was very rousing, Otto. I swear they get better each time. I hope the Duke doesn't catch word of this, Otto. The town could suffer for it. We're past the point of caring, Mahler. If you were in our position, you'd understand that. You're right. It's not my place to judge. I'm just concerned. It's appreciated, but we know the risks. Ooh. Understood why many people hate the abbot. That was from a while ago. So all of these relationships that we built up 7 years ago are going to come back into play now. Otto, did you really see a sign from God? Is that true? It is, Andreas, I swear. Come talk to me later, I'll tell you what I can, alright? Anyway, Andreas, you and yours should come by the house for supper. We'd be delighted to have you. I don't see the point in deferring to Casper. That sounds wonderful. We'll be there, Clara. Go to the Gärtners for supper. But first, go everywhere else. Werner Stolz is still here, which is interesting since he seemed to hate the village. The old Peter is still alive. He's the oldest man in town. Paul is an older boy now. Here's Balthazar, an inventor. We didn't meet any of the Pfeiffers last time we were here, but we did hear about them. Wolf died. That's sad. We didn't meet Fabian Rausch either. Andreas? So, Otto, sign from God? Oh, right. I found something just a few days ago. This will sound crazy, but I found St. Moritz's head. What? His head? Are you sure? Shh. Yes, I'm sure. Alright, I can't say anything more until St. John's Day. Then everyone will know. Who else knows about this? Only those who need to know. And you, of course. Feel lucky? Absolutely. Good. Until later, Andreas. Yeah, and Casper, my apprentice. He knows too. God bless you, Andreas. Oh, interesting, we can go into the church now. We didn't used to be able to. You're that artist who came here a few years ago, around the time of the murder. Yes, I'm Andreas Mahler. Right, I know your name. Do you work for Father Thomas? Work for? I'm his slave. I clean this damn church and I keep his house so I have a roof over my head. Around the time the Baron was murdered, I lost my home. That bastard, the abbot, took it from me. Now I have to rely on the charity of the church. I hate the church as much as the abbey. I wish there were a hell, so I could send a lot of these holy men there. I understand. You don't. You can't. No matter. Alright. Well, I'll see you later. Fine. So the abbots took her house? Like, for what purpose could they even want that? This must be what the church is named for, a Marian apparition in Tassing's history. Painting of the Virgin Mary. What does the labyrinth symbolize? You can still run. interesting that the abbot is willing to welcome us back so suddenly, when fairly recently we came and stopped by, and Brother B was still like, "You're not welcome here. And we're not allowed to stay in the land house, or in the guest house. We have to stay in the land house instead." Locking the people out from being able to visit the shrine is an interesting move. The abbot just, like, he already seemed like a dickhead, and now he's just even more of one. So no wonder if the people want to rise up. Kind of feel like it's probably the abbot that killed the Baron to begin with. He's the one that wanted to cover up the body. And he's probably the one Ferenc was leaving a message for. But unfortunately, there was nothing to pin it on him. Oh, hello, Master Mahler. You're looking well. Thank you, Smokey. How are you? I'm well enough, I guess. Václav went his way a few years ago, which I suppose was bound to happen. I miss the company sometimes. Now there's no one to keep me from my gossip. No one to tell it to, either. I'm always partial to a few new tidbits of information. Do tell, Smokey. Half of the years in casting will be burning by the end, Master Mahler. And nearly all of them in the Abbey. Oh? I did see another Imperial Reichspost. Don't know that word. Reichspost. A private mail service. Another postal courier arrived from the Abbey a few days ago. Brother Guy dropped a bag once. It looked heavy. The Abbey must be doing better than that abbot is letting on. I'd heard the Abbey was struggling with its funds. Curious, isn't it? The couriers arrive once or twice a month. Doesn't help that the abbot has tightened restrictions so close to St. John's Eve, too. The townsfolk get up to all sorts of mischief then. What sort of mischief? I'd wager Johann and Kat will find some corner to play in again. It's practically tradition at this point. Veronica and Brigitte might go out for a midnight dip by the waterfall, too. They used to do that when I was here, too. They've been swimming out there for years. Now everyone's getting clever, trying to stay out from the abbot's eye. Rightly so, he's an ass. I didn't see you in the town commons during Otto's speech. Aren't you standing with the peasants? Well, their cause doesn't really affect me, does it? I'm as worried as anyone about soldiers rushing through here, but the new taxes and restrictions don't bother me. I understand why they're upset, but I've been doing fine out here with less than they have. Nothing will change for me if they get their way. I see. Oh well, enough of that. Thanks for stopping by, Master Mahler. Until later, Smokey. Until then. I'm not gonna tell them, like, well, you could still support them. Like, that's true. But they also haven't exactly shown solidarity with him over the years. Like, nobody comes to visit him, other than me. So I'm not gonna be judgmental. Bless you, Master Mahler. Oh, we can go in the house. Here's Paul. Hello, Master Mahler. Hello, Paul. Meet Casper, my assistant. Oh, hello. Do you work with Master Mahler? Have you done real art? I guess. I've been doing sketches of Tassing while we're here. It took me years of practice to make what I thought was real art, Paul. I'm not even sure if what I do now is that good. But you're a master artist. I may have earned that title, but techniques themselves take a lifetime to master. I hadn't thought about that. How's your art going? Shh! Not where Dad can hear. Oh, right. How's the art going? Haha, I've been practicing a lot more. Klaus even showed me a big book full of prints. He said they used a technique called woodcutting. Have you ever done woodcutting, Master Mauler? No, I spent most of my time learning the finer techniques of oil painting. I wish Dad would change his mind about art. Maybe one day, Paul. You never know. I hope so. I should get back to helping my dad. See you later, Master Mauler. See you, Casper. Till then. Staub gets to be in the house now. They finally let that poor dog inside. Very good. A new petting animation. Andreas, welcome back to Tussing. Hello, Lenhart. How's the mill? Sturdy as ever, just like we. You look well. Not stuck with the Gartners this time, eh? Just like me. No, I'm staying at the Golden Hand. Ah, good, good. That Hannah is a good woman. She runs the place well. And far away from those tiresome old monks, too. Anyway, you should come by sometime. I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss. Good day, Andreas. Good day. I'm not gonna be rude to him. There's no point in, closing off your options. Besides, I like his wife and his son. And I don't want him to be like, you can't come around anymore. These are new people. But they all know who I am. Hi. Hello. Are you Helena's daughter? I'm Martha. I think we did actually see them once. They came up to, outside of the Abbey. I'm Andreas. Nice to meet you. Alright. I'm going to go. Andreas Mahler. I never thought I'd see you back here again. I came back to pay my respects to Brother Piero. Ah, I'm sorry. I didn't know the man, but I heard others speak well of him. How have you been, Helena? Well, little Martha managed to survive since your last visit, thank God. But lately, not so well. You must know about the taxes we have to deal with. Otto is trying to make the abbot see some sense, but I'm worried he's playing with fire. Carl and Peter and the other farmers support him, but it's dangerous to provoke the Duke. Anton's still too young to get mixed up in all this, and we have Martha to look after now. It sounds like the peasants can't really survive with the way things are. It's going to be a hard winter for certain. But I'd take a skinny husband over a dead one. I pray nothing happens to him. Now then, I'd best get back to my work. Till later, Andreas. Until then. Andreas, not who I wanted to see. God has it out for me. Wow, so he still really holds a grudge about the fact that we sort of mildly accused him of murder. Hello, Lucky. I, for one, am glad to see you again. Alive, you mean? Sure tried your best to get me killed. Couldn't even hold back to the Archdeacon, running your mouth. I had to give a truthful testimony of what I learned. Don't think at all what happens after, eh? Good thing the Archdeacon knew how to weigh all the evidence. Turns out the prior's just as corrupt as regular folks. Okay, Lucky, well, did you know that it was actually me that got the prior killed, specifically? I still can't believe it was Frank. I'm not surprised. They didn't kill me, but you tainted my name. Folks whispering, what if they got the wrong person? Could have been the Mason after all. I'm sorry, Lucky. That was not my intent. Apologies don't bring work. Reputation does. At least most have the decency to only whisper, unlike that shit Muller. So no, I don't like seeing you here, Master Mahler. I can only apologize again, truly. I've little else to give. Yeah, well that won't make us all friendly. Keep your distance, alright? Now get lost. It's fair, I guess. I could have just not mentioned him. Oh, Andreas. How good it is to see you again. And who's this? Hello, Agnes. This is my assistant, Casper. Interesting that she doesn't seem to be holding a grudge at all. Hello. What a hale-looking boy. And you, Andreas, you look very well. Why are you back in Tossing? I came to pay respects to Brother Piero's grave. Oh, of course. I'm sure the brothers appreciated that. The last few years have been difficult for everyone. We've lost so many. Yes, I heard Bert and Marie had passed. Tragic. Yes, poor Klaus. I hope you've stopped in to talk to him. He sent you letters. Yes. Anyway, I won't burden you with all of Tossing's troubles. It's been good to see you again, Andreas. Until later. Until then. God bless you, Andreas. I'm thankful you returned to Tossing after so long. We prayed so fondly for you after you left. Thank you, Gret. I've kept Tossing in my prayers as well. Though it doesn't seem to have done much good. Ah, that's right. You were at Otto's speech earlier. Yes, Tossing's peasants are struggling. Now even we townsfolk are pinched by the abbot's new restrictions. I worry about my husband. He's getting too involved with the whole business. You disagree with Ulrich? Yes, I do. I love my husband, but sometimes I worry that he focuses too intently on the details. He does not see that he may be both prudent and Christian. I pray that I am not acting selfishly, but the abbot's taxes have affected us too. What about Anna's future? Ulrich has been offering credit to Peter for years, which I've accepted, but now we can only bake so much bread a week before we go hungry ourselves. Can you talk to him, Andreas? Of course, Gret, but I can't promise I'll change his mind. God bless you, Andreas, that's all I ask. Yes? Oh, Andreas Mahler. How unexpected. I'm very busy at the moment. Another time? Later then? Hmm. Salutations! You must be that wonderful artist, no? Master Andreas Mahler, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Balthazar Eisenkopf, at your service. Call me Baltus, please. It's much more familiar. Pleasure, Baltus. Have you been in Tassing long? Oh, just a few seasons. My cart broke down, and I found the place so charming I decided to stay. And build your own house? I enjoy the quiet, but I must say I do miss the company of other intellectuals. Usually that good Dr. Stoltz and I whittle the hours away in the evenings. So naturally, when I heard a well-known artist had returned, I was beside myself. I'm always pleased to meet a like-minded individual. What do you do? I'm an inventor of sorts. Really? What do you make? All sorts of things, young man. Mechanical clocks of all sizes, metal mice that skitter about, even light without flame. Truly impressive, Baltus. Thank you, Andreas. I knew a fellow artist such as yourself would appreciate my work. Ah well, I'd best get back to it. You know how it is for us, called to a higher art. Good luck, Baltus. Until later. Interesting. So Werner's finally found someone that he doesn't hate, I guess. Andreas? Andreas Mahler? Hello, cat. Well, would you look at that? You are back in Tussing. And look at you. You've done well for yourself. And who's this? Cat, please meet Casper, my apprentice. Hello. He's got the posture of an artist, that's for sure. Good strong face, though. I do? What brings you back to Tussing, Andreas? Just passing through on the way back to Nuremberg. I saw Martin earlier. I must say I was surprised to see him. That's right, he disappeared when you were last in town. Franz passed a few winters ago. Then Wolf, Brigitte and I nearly lost the farm and our mines. But Martin's returned shortly after, and he's proved to be a changed man, a good man. He saved us from destitution. I'd been wondering where Wolf was. I'm so sorry, Cat. I don't know what else to say, I'm sorry. There is nothing to say, is there? He was a good boy. A sweet, good little boy. The stars dimmed when he passed. But that was years ago now. I try not to dwell on it, to be strong for Brigitte, to find solace in the knowledge he is with God now. Times may be hard in Tassing right now, but God truly does answer our prayers. I'm glad you and your family are well, Cat, despite everything. Thank you, Andreas. It truly is good to see you again, even in the midst of such terrible times. Until later, Cat. Till then. Martin. Andreas Mahler. Good to see you again after all these years. I'm surprised you'd say that. Your parting words to me back then were hardly kind. Were they? It's been so long, I don't remember. You don't remember telling me to eat shit multiple times? It was pretty rude. Well, sorry for being such an asshole back then. seems like you've learned a lot since then. 7 years is a long time for a young man, especially one going through what I was. What happened to you, anyway? Oh, right. You know, I stole some of the Baron's things. I didn't make it far with them. I tried to sell them in Volligau and I got robbed. Serves me right, I guess. Luckily, they didn't find the coins I was carrying. The money carried me around Bavaria for another month and a half. Then I started stealing. I grew bigger and more confident over time and became a highwayman. You are a bandit? Hard to believe, I know, but yes. Anyway, it didn't last long. I eventually got scared out of it. I had a partner for the last year of my adventures. We tried to rob some Italians. We thought they were merchants traveling under the banner of St. George. They were not. They were soldiers guarding the property of an Italian bank. My partner didn't survive the encounter. I was wounded and alone in the wilderness. I thought of my father and my mother, Brigitte. I realized I couldn't remember Wolf's face anymore. I had to come back and take up the responsibilities I had left behind. You are a prodigal son for our age. That's what Father Thomas said. I don't know. I feel bad for those years I lost, for the son I lost. It's all in the past now. Just need to look forward. That was quite a speech you gave back at the Commons. He needs support, but townsfolk aren't as committed to opposing the abbot. They have less to gain and more to lose if the abbot chooses to get the Duke involved. Anyway, I have to get back to work. Good talking to you, Andreas. Alright, until later. He's definitely a different man now. Hello, Andreas. Hello, Brigitte. How are you? As well as anyone can be in Tossing right now. Looks like things are going well for you. Martin returned, after all. Yes, the winter without him was excruciating. I lost little Wolf, and Kat was worried she'd lose the farm after Franz died. But then Martin returned, and he's provided well for us since. Despite the tightening restrictions, we've gotten by. I'm thankful. I'm sorry to hear about Wolf. Thank you. I try not to think about it. Nod regretfully. Kat wants to talk about him all the time, you know. Any night there's clear skies, she looks up and asks if I ever wonder how he is up there. That must be excruciating. Yes, it is. I'm sorry, Andreas. I can't talk about this anymore. Was that a good idea? Why did you think she'd want to talk about her dead son? Were you trying to hurt her? Does it feel good to you, hurting the wounded? No, I was trying to be kind. Does she seem like she's been gifted with a kindness? No. You wouldn't want someone to talk to you about it. That's why you don't mention it. Are you even listening to me? We say these things even though the reminding inflicts intense pain. We say these things because it's the only way through. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. Then say that. But will it make any difference? I'm sorry I brought him up, Brigitte. You didn't know. It's alright. It's been good to see you again, but I should be going. Till later. Until then. So, did they just want, like, this tiny little wheat field? The abbot when they took Otulia's house? It's kind of wild. Hey, Andreas. Heard rumor you were back. Hello, Hans. Meet Casper, my apprentice. Hello. Hello. Are you from Nuremberg like Andreas? I'm from Salzburg. Is that very far from here? Not too far, I think. A few days to the east on horseback. I've never been outside of Tossing. Or ridden a horse. Tossing's a wonderful place to live. I guess. Some of the men in town say it would be better if the abbey weren't around. They might be right about that. What do you think? I don't know. Could be nice to have a change. Careful what you wish for. Change does not come peacefully in the Empire. Guess we'll see. Till then, Hans. Andreas Mahler, didn't expect to ever see you back in Tossing. You look like you've done well for yourself. Thanks. And how have you been? Things went well for a while after you left. Widow Kemperin lost her land, and the abbot let us work it. My brother's heart gave out not long after, but then Martin came back to help work the land. Even so, it's been hard to keep up with the abbot's demands, the taxes, and everything else. It sounds like a lot of people are upset with the abbot these days. They have good reason to be. I know you didn't get on well with the man either. Father Matthias never let things get this bad. Anyway, good to see you, Andreas, even if you are just passing through. Till later. I think we've talked to everyone. Hello, Floofy. Hello. Hello, Ursula. Do you remember me? No. Should I? You used to poke me in the foot with a stick to wake me up. I did? You did. I stayed in the room upstairs. I kind of remember that. I think you told me a story once. Mom and Dad sometimes talk about you. They said you went away for more training. What was that like? Well, when I was in Paris, I learned a new oil technique. No, not about the art, Andreas. About your travels. Alright, alright. I was traveling along the Seine one night, and I heard a ghostly wailing out over the water. A ghost? That's what I feared. But some fellow travelers told me it was Melusine. She was a fairy princess who married a count on the condition that he never violate her privacy. One day he hid in her private chamber to observe her while she bathed. Rude. Melusine thought the same thing. She shrieked, turned into a dragon, and flew away, never to return. And on lonely nights, you can hear her wailing over the waters of the Seine. When I get married, I'm never going to let my husband look at me when I'm taking a bath. Andreas, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you know the stories about Perchta and the Wild Hunt? Of course. I lived in Switzerland for a while. They believe in Perchta too. They call her Dame Hulda where I stayed in Basel. Why? Are they bad? Bad how? Well, my grandpa tells me things about Perchta and spirits and charms. And the old woman, Ottilia, she talks about them too. and says all these words I don't understand. She told me they're part of the old ways or something. So, why do you think they're bad? Well, my dad says that I shouldn't listen to any of it. He said it's nonsense, and that Father Thomas would be mad. He said he only tolerates it with old people because they're too stuck in their ways. I don't want to get in trouble, but Grandpa says if I don't learn the old ways, they'll just be forgotten. Why are you asking me? I'm afraid if I ask someone else, they'll tell my dad, or worse, Father Thomas. So are they bad? No, they're not bad. You should learn what you can while you can. Really? Ooh. I've got a lot of influence with Ursula. Yes, it's important for you to carry on the stories and knowledge of your ancestors. Oh, that makes sense. Thanks, Andreas. Until later. Wonder if she has, cystic fibrosis or something. Or if she just happens to have a cold right now. But nobody just happens to have a cold in media. It can never be that simple. Hello, Andreas. Good to see you back in town. Hello, Veronica. How have you been? Oh, you know, pulled every which way. Mom's been a cow about when I'll give her grandchildren. As if I'm not doing enough work already. You're married now? Oh yeah, I guess you wouldn't know. Big Jorg and I were married 2 springs back. Congratulations to you both. Thanks. Now Mom's nagging me about when we'll have kids. I don't want to be annoying or nosy. You shouldn't rush something as important as children. That's what I keep telling her. Maybe you should talk to Andreas. If it comes from someone as successful as you, maybe she'll pay attention. Anyway, I should get back to work. We're all preparing for the festival. I'll leave you to it. Till later, Veronica. See you, Andreas. Hello, Il Peter. Eh? Oh, it's you. The artist from a few years ago. Yes, Andreas Mahler. I spelled my name wrong. I'm surprised you remember me. Everyone seems to think my mind is going, but it's still sharp as a nail. Endris makes nails, you know. Good man. Right. Are you staying with my family again? No, I'm staying at the Golden Hand. Ha! Those misers charge us just as much as the pilgrims for a drink, but won't support my son in his cause. That new abbot must have gotten to them, the bastard. Why do you hate the abbot so much? Everything went to shit after Father Matthias died. That man, God rest his soul, never increased taxes. He might have asked for a tithe in harder winters, but we were happy to help the abbey then. We could take from the forest as we needed. Brother Florian used to help us in our illnesses. Let us follow in the ways of our forefathers. A true Christian, that old abbot. And then, Father Gerno promised he would keep everything between the abbey and us peasants the same. And we were foolish enough to believe him. At first, he refused to allow Florian to come down anymore. Taxes got higher. He stopped allowing us to pay in goods and livestock. Now he only takes coin, as though we can come by enough of that in a year to pay our rents alone. The bastard doesn't give a damn about us, not how Father Matthias did. Father Gerno's been an ass longer than I thought. You should talk to my son. You should help him stop that bastard abbot. I should go. Hey? Alright. Hello again, Andreas. We're about to sit down to supper. Care to join? It would be my pleasure. It's truly a blessing to have everyone back together again, if only briefly. Keep an eye on that boy of yours, Andreas. See that he minds how much he takes. Young boys eat too goddamn much. Peter, stop that. Andreas is our guest. Why don't you lead us in grace? Fine. Bless us, O Lord, and these your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. We pray again for our beloved Christine, gone now these many years. Please help me protect my family in these difficult times. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. Master Andreas, why are we the only ones with bread? I don't want to say this because they're going to hear. But I don't want to just be like, you know, I don't want to be a dickhead to him. Quiet, Casper. Andreas, it's so good to have you at our table again. And with another guest. Is this young man your assistant? Casper, yes, he's my apprentice. Ah, that would explain why I saw him writing in that little journal. I remember you did the same thing when you lived here. Eat my fresh potage. Do you still draw in your journal, Andreas? Oh, sometimes when the mood strikes. Wouldn't that be nice, Jorg, if we only had to work when the whim took us? We toil all day, and that despicable abbot is starving us all while he sips on his sacramental fucking wine. Lay off him, Dad. He's only just got here. How have the fates been treating you these last few years? Ugh. The Lord is testing us with another hard season, I'm afraid. That's one way to say it. Been miserable as shit all around. Maybe you should be resting, Grandpa. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna do it sitting up at my own goddamn table. The whole family's been ill, Andreas. Peter, his father, and Ursula with an ague, and me, well... Clara lost a child in childbed a year ago now. A tragedy. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you, Andreas. It was some time ago, but, well, such things linger. It was monstrous. Monstrous. I'm not gonna preach to them. Don't think about it. Just keep the conversation going. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. I'm wondering then, because this is the second time that Beatrice has chimed in about someone losing a kid. It makes me wonder that maybe we've also lost a child in these 7 years. You're already thinking about it. Please leave me alone, just for a while. Alright, just for a while. Remain silent. It seems the Lord rarely looks in on tossing any longer. That's why it's time for us to take matters into our own hands. You're eating, not at the table. Please, can we not talk about this now? Georg here was married while you were away, Andreas. Yes, I'd heard. You and Veronica make a good match, Georg. Thanks. Georg has been good to me. There aren't many other options in tossing anyway. It's been a couple springs, but I'm still not used to being married. We've already heard from Veronica that this is kind of a sore spot. Congratulations, Georg. I'm happy for you. Thanks, Andreas. It's been our one blessing in a dark season. With children soon to come, I hope. Haha. What? I don't get it. Do you? Oh, forget it, Ursula. What have you been up to, Andreas? What should I say? My life seems so far from theirs now. My mind's gone blank. What should I say? Think of something. There has to be something. Don't leave them waiting. I can't think of anything. Nothing but my miserable little problems. They'll think you're rude if you don't say something. Foreign patrons are fussy, and I've spent a fortune trying to keep my inks wet and canvases dry while traveling. Christ, Andreas, you're living like a king compared to us. What is it like to travel? You must have seen so much. Ursula, maybe you should excuse yourself and rest. You're sick. But Mom, I'm still hungry. Here, Ursula, you can have mine. It's not fair that nobody else gets any bread besides Master Andreas and me. Stop. Ursula, give it back to him. I'm not going to have people in this town saying we can't feed our goddamn guests. Besides, we all have work to get back to, don't we? Good. Yeah, Casper. Maybe you should have taken the hint when I told you to be quiet. Time to get back to it, Andreas. We'll see you and your boy later. My apologies, Peter. We don't mean to overstay our welcome. It's alright, Andreas. He's just in a bad mood. It was lovely to see you again. Yes, thank you for coming, Andreas. Will you be staying for St. John's Eve? Think so. Good. Hopefully we'll see you later. Till then. We have the Go to Sleep quest. Anna. She's cut her hair in 7 years. Martha, the younger sister of Anton, daughter of Carl and Helena. And we've learned Smokey's last name, which you might have known before. I know the Zen. Wonder if we can get up to anything while everyone's asleep. Gotta give Casper a workout. The sin of Saul! The sin of Saul! Saul, the first monk of Israel. Master, did you hear that? It sounded like someone crying out. I think it's Sister Amelie. She's a mystic. She may be having one of her visions. Sister Amelie, are you alright? The Philistines. This is of the hand of God. Compline. Compline. Sister, is something happening at Compline? It's Compline right now. No! Sister? Sister Amelie? You're the artist, Andreas. You remember me? Yes. You were here when the Baron was killed. You've changed. In more ways than one. The complexities and difficulties of the outside world are why I'm glad to be in here. I can see and hear the world spinning all around me, but I am not a part of it. This cell gives me the peace and isolation I need to feel God's presence. And in the stillness of this storm of the world, a storm sometimes rouses in my soul. I wish Father Thomas were here. Would you like Casper to go get him? If he could, yes. His house is just around the corner. Casper, run and get Father Thomas. Yes, Master Andreas. Your son? My apprentice, Casper Ziegler, from Salzburg. He seems eager to please you. He is quite enthusiastic, yes. I have little knowledge of the workings of masters and apprentices. My world is one of spirit, decoupled from the march of life and death. I see and hear your world turning from this little window, but they are mercifully small glimpses. Mercifully small. This cell allows me to contemplate mysteries without the noise of the outside world polluting my thoughts. Your world is the world of normal lives and normal thoughts. It can be difficult to hear the divine, much less make sense of it. I have no will to be part of that world. I strive to have no will at all, but to subordinate myself to the will of God. When my will is His will, His grace, He graces me with visions, confusing though they may be. To join your will, to be intimate with Jesus as though He were your wedded husband. That is a bold thing to say, Master Maller. Where did you hear that? I read it in a book written by an English mystic. I had someone make it a translation for me. Merry Christmas, Sarah. I'm doing well. How are you? I am glad you have an interest in spiritual matters. But these are not words to speak lightly, nor ideas to speak lightly of. The revelations we experience can be terrifying to us, and to those who witness us experiencing them. They are not dreams, but waking visions of the greatest divine forces. That's good. I'm getting tacos tomorrow, so Christmas tacos, indeed. I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend you. I am not offended. But it is difficult for us to communicate these experiences through the written word. Sister, is that hole in the ground your grave? Yes, I dug it before Father Thomas read me my funeral rites, before I was enclosed here. I dig a little more in it each day. Most people find it shocking, but this is my devotion, my vocation. Once someone finds their calling, they must answer it fully. Yeah, it's my first time playing this game. So far it's been definitely an adventure. We got someone killed in the first act, and now we've come back 7 years later to possibly get someone else killed. Well, it's up to you. I've enjoyed playing it. I think it's a really interesting game, but I'm also particularly interested in history and know a fair bit about medieval history, so it's really cool to be kind of immersed in that. What if the calling is wrong? I wish I could give a helpful answer, but I don't know. I felt this was my calling even before I could admit it to myself. Is your calling in question, Andreas? Is your life? Both, I think. I've lost my love. My love for art, love for family, love for anything. The last 7 years have been hard. It was all too much for me. Don't lose hope, Andreas. The human heart is no small thing. It can hold so much. Augustine? Andreas, thank you for sending Casper. She asked for you. Are you alright, Sister Amelie? Yes, Father. I may have had another vision. I remember little of it. Master Mahler and his apprentice heard nothing specific. That is unfortunate, but I'm glad you are alright. Andreas, Casper, could you excuse us? We appreciate your help, but I must tend to her now in the church. Of course, Father. Good evening. God bless you both. Master Andreas, I'm confused. What did that all mean? I'm not sure, but the last time I heard Sister Amelie have a vision, it was just before the Baron was murdered. What? Do you think... Could Sister Amelie be receiving warnings? It's possible. John received his revelation of Apocalypse on Patmos. It was a vision of Judgment Day. But then again, Saint Hildegard received many wondrous visions, none of them prophetic. As Sister Amelie herself said, mystical visions can be difficult to understand. I guess so. I can't understand any of this. Come, Casper, let's retire for the evening. After we run everywhere else in town, obviously. There's also a lot of replayability in this game, I think. Like, you have different options for different backgrounds, and then you make choices all the time about who to spend your time with, and who to get information from. And in that sense, like, there's no possible way to see everything. So... replaying, there's definitely a lot more to get into, I think. I don't have a Bluetooth anything that I'm using right now, so I'm not sure what you mean. Wow. Smokey still hasn't gone to bed yet. And I don't think we can get anywhere in the abbey, or obviously in the, where the nuns are. But we might try and get into the shrine, since we heard it was, closed off to the peasants now. But no. So I think we just have to go to bed, and somebody's probably going to die tonight. And sadly, there's nothing we can do about that, other than pet this cat. And I'll pet my dog, who's laying at my feet right now. She's passed out, because she spent 3 hours chewing a bone that I gave her. And she's now exhausted. I feel like I'm on too many Discords as it is, to be honest. But I appreciate the offer. The gentleman that was out here earlier, whose name I've forgotten, has run away. Head into the guest room. Try and wash our face. And then go to sleep. It's getting late, I should get some rest. Wonder how our wife is doing. Okay. Tasks for today. Meet Mother Illuminata at the library. We've paid our respects. And Amelie's here. The glossary. I'm surprised they're putting the hours of prayer in the glossary now, when even if you weren't aware of the divine offices before, like, surely we've been going through that for the entire beginning part of the game. Did you drop this, Casper? No, I don't think so, Master. Uh-oh. Ihr werdet gewarnt. You were warned. That script looks beautiful, Master Andreas. Did you write that? You were warned. Warned? What does that mean? Warned about what? It has to do with the murder that happened the last time I was here. How? I thought they caught the murderer. Yes, but it's complicated. Let's just head up to the library, Casper. All right, Master. Well, we were warned. That's true. Now the abbot's probably going to try and kill us. We have to head up to the abbey, try and buy books. But, of course, we're going to walk everywhere else in town first. God bless you, Andreas. I wonder if our son died before or after we stopped writing everyone else back. Because if it was before, I might have somewhat more sympathy for Andreas, being kind of a dickhead to all of his friends. God bless you, Andreas. God bless you, Ulrich. How have you been? The Lord has been kinder to me than the peasants. These are difficult times for them, Andreas. They could use your help. My help? How? Talk to the abbot. He may respect your opinion more than mine or the peasants. I would have hoped he could see that his behavior is not Christian. Something is clouding his judgment. I actually think the abbot is less inclined to listen to us than basically anyone else. And in fact, he might want us dead, but whatever you say. Not exactly in Father Gernot's good graces. I doubt he would listen to anything I had to say. We must try, Andreas. These men are fair and hard-working, but they've been pushed down for too long. They're becoming desperate, and desperate men can forget their faith and turn to violence. What if violence is the only language the abbot understands, because he's a murderer? When a man can't keep his family fed, he can only keep that pain inside for so long. Make no mistake, the peasants hold Father Gernot responsible for their lot. If there is fire in their hearts, we must pray for rain. I will do what I can, Ulrich. Thank you, and God bless you, Andreas. God bless you, Andreas. The catchphrase of this town, really. Here's the burner. Kopf. Salutations. Here's Andres. I don't think we were able to talk to him earlier. Andreas, you're back in Tossing? Just for a few days. I wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero. Oh yes, Brother Piero. What a talent with color. I'm sorry, Andreas. He was a sweet old man. I talk to him sometimes on my breaks up at the Abbey. I'm surprised Prior Ferenc didn't give you an earful. Well, he did, before the, unpleasantness. I'm sure you know it shook things up at the Abbey for a while. Brother Guy made it clear I wasn't welcome at Kirsau when I arrived, so yes. For what it's worth, you're still welcome in Tassing, anyway. Mathieu is prior now. Still strict, but a bit quieter about it. He has a reserved Swiss temperament. I'd take that over Ferenc's outbursts. You'll get no disagreement from me. Still, even if the prior is easier to get along with, the abbot's gone from bad to worse. Oh, are you in with the peasants, Endris? Well, of course. Girnoa has been running them into the ground. On top of that, we can't even use the forest anymore. Any of us used to be able to go fishing in there. Not anymore. How far are you going to take this? Well, I don't know. Don't ask me, I'm not leading the thing. But I trust in Otto, and the peasants do too. He's a good man. The whole town knows it, even Lenhart, though he wouldn't admit it. Say, Andreas, how's the married life been treating you? After you left here to return to Nuremberg, I assume you married that girl of yours, Sabine? I'm really impressed that he remembers the name of our wife that we mentioned perhaps one time. This is gonna make it sound like we don't love our wife and don't care about her at all, and even though we've told the anchoress that love has died in our heart, I think it's best to just keep it short and simple. I did. I hope the married life has treated you well. I still have not found anyone. I fear it's never going to happen. Really? Not a single person has caught your eye? Well, when I was in Innsbruck a few years ago, I saw a real pretty girl at the market selling painted pots. I think about her sometimes, maybe more than as Christian. Hold on, we need to go back to Innsbruck and find that pretty girl. What? Really? Life is too short to spend dreaming about the loves you could have had. Trust me. You seem to feel strongly about this, Andreas. But it sounds foolish. Juvenile, you might say. Maybe, but it feels right. Well, if I ever have the chance to get back to Innsbruck, maybe I will. There's something to look forward to after all. I thank you, Andreas. You're a man of inspiration. A pleasure. Until later, Andres. Until then. So I guess we don't love our wife. Hello. Have we met before? Hello again, Sepp. It's been a long time. Oh, Andreas the artist, from years back. I barely recognized you. Master Mahler is a very renowned painter, don't you know? Oh, yes. Sepp, meet my apprentice, Caspar Ziegler. Pleasure. Now don't mind me. I don't hear much of what happens outside Tossing. Besides, we didn't talk much back then. You were always busy running back and forth between the Abbey and Gärtner's. Heh, I guess that's true. How have you been doing? The family as well? As well as can be expected in these times. Heil Viggs, good and healthy. Simon, my son, is growing like a beast. You've heard what Otto has to say, haven't you? The Abbey's taxing us to death, restricting what we can do in the woods. Christ, we can't even pray at the shrine anymore. It's obscene, you understand? We get a harsh winter and people are going to die. Is it really that bad? Very bad, son. We have no, sympathetic options. No interclass solidarity. Life is never easy, Caspar. You take that lesson to heart. But, yes, Master Andreas. You have to fight for justice in this world, young Caspar. we're given no choices, we have to create some. Lives depend on it. But if the Duke sends his soldiers against you, it will be a bloodbath. Death by sword and axe and mace is preferable to starvation. I've griped enough. In the end, it's action that counts. What brought you back here anyway, Andreas? I came to pay my respects to my friend, Brother Bihero. One of the monks, eh? I suppose you knew them better than most. Enjoy your stay in our little town. It hasn't changed too much otherwise. Well, wouldn't he realize more than we would? It has and it hasn't, I suppose. Ah. Well, alright. I believe the Golden Hand wasn't here on your last visit. And then there's the construction of the Rot House, of course. Not sure who's going to be on the town council, but Otter says it's just a way to divide us anyway. That's not exactly what I meant, but yes, you're right. You can't really notice changes when you live in them, can you? Alright, enough talk. We got to return to the family. God watch over you both, Andreas, Casper. Till later, Seb. Bye. Hello, Andreas. Hello again, Jorg. Sorry about dinner the other night. Dad, got a little heated. Casper didn't mean to insult your family. He's just trying to keep his dignity, I understand. Thanks, Andreas. Dad's always been able to provide for us, but now... well, things are different now. But that's why Otto's making his speeches and Klaus is printing the 12 articles. Change is coming to tossing, Andreas. May the winds of fortune blow your way, Jorg. Thanks. I'll see you later, Andreas. Until then. Are you ready, boy? Have a mask made? Huh? For St. John's Eve. You need a mask to help the wild hunt scare off the evil spirits. Master Andreas, what is he talking about? You don't know of Perchta? What do they even teach you these days? The wild hunt is a pagan myth, Casper. Myth? Myth? Pah. Well, I don't expect you to believe. You're from big cities. No knowledge of the old ways. The wild hunt punishes who do not respect the old ways, like that bastard abbot. They purge to addle his mind and give him brain rot for stopping the old traditions. Take it easy, old man. It's just one festival. Pah. The abbot's abuses go back farther than the bonfire. His increased taxes taken our saint from us. Who else can we call upon but Perchta when the church keeps us from God? You want to learn more, boy? Come find me at the bonfire when the time is near. If you wish. Until later, ill Peter. Pah. Morning, Mistress Mulirin. It's interesting that they have this Mulirin, like the in suffix, at the end of her name. Which, like, Müller, of course, means Miller, and then in tends to make, like, the feminine form of, like, a German noun. But I haven't seen anyone else with names that disambiguate between the masculine and feminine versions of the last name. And it's really interesting to see that with this character in particular, because they have like a profession last name that's based on the profession that they currently operate in, I guess. I didn't know that that was a thing in Germany or Bavaria in general, like in the old times, but it's really interesting. Good morning, Master Mahler. My husband has been talking about your arrival. We're pleased you've done so well for yourself. Thank you. I see the mill's been doing well. Lenhard works relentlessly to keep it in good condition. He's very proud of it. It's unique in these parts, inspired by the designs used in the north. So it's very profitable too, and that's important to Lenhart. Who is this young man? Casper, my apprentice. Hello, mistress. Oh, you must meet my darling Paul. He would love to meet someone his age pursuing art. We've already met. Just not where Lenhart can see. Yes, Casper and Paul have been introduced. I'm certain they would get along well. That's very good to hear. Paul does not have many friends with similar interests. They are not easy to come by. He does not have many friends in general. Then we will figure something out. I wouldn't mind, I guess. This would be delightful. Master Mahler, Casper, thank you both. You're most welcome, Elsa. I must now return to my work, Master Mahler, until later. Until then. We don't get a quest from that, though. Very good dog. Okay, guess we can go talk to Mother Illuminata now. I think we went to the forest already this morning. I'll just pop by and see Smokey again. Just in case. Yeah, nothing new. Not locked for once. Interesting. It's in the library that we are supposed to be meeting her. Is it? We weren't allowed it in the library last time. Yeah. Interesting. Brother Guy. Andreas? Brother Guy, what are you doing out here? Father Gerno has asked me to inform the townsfolk that the shrine is closed. I think they already knew that, mate. Has something happened to the shrine? Father Abbot has ordered that we bring the hand into the church. The pilgrims are still welcome to come in and visit the relic, but it is off limits to the townsfolk. What? Why? The abbot has had enough of the peasants and townsfolk rebelling against the abbey. He is their rightful lord. The abbot has been more than generous, but he will not let this 12 articles drivel pass. The abbot refuses to leave the relic at risk of destruction. The hand of St. Moritz is the only thing keeping the abbey open. This is interesting that we're getting this now, because the townsfolk have already been talking about the shrine being closed to them previously as sort of one of their grievances. So this is sort of like a chicken and egg scenario. But Tassing relies on St. Moritz just as much as the abbey. What about the faith of the townsfolk? Then they can stop engaging in such heretical and sinful behavior. The abbot is trying to protect the relic, nothing more. What about the peasants' complaints? Father Abbot has done all he can. Until the peasants can see reason, the relic will remain in the church. I pray the townsfolk in the abbey can resolve this quickly, then. As do I. God bless you, Andreas. Hello? Who's there? Hello, Sister Margaret. It's Andreas Mahler, the artist. Oh, Master Mahler. Mother Illuminata said you'd returned. Is there someone else with you? Yes, my apprentice, Casper. Hello. God bless you, Casper. You smell even more of paint than your master. Sister Margaret is blind. She relies on her other senses, Casper. Oh, thank you? You're funny. Anyway, I should go. Mother Illuminata doesn't like it when we're distracted from our duties. Of course. Till later, sister. God bless you, Master Mahler, and you too, Casper. Oh, Miles' finger has moved. I'm glad that all of the pets are still alive. It's very important. Yeah, I didn't think she would be in here, which is why I wanted to go in here. Sure, we are, still not allowed in there. Rudiger. He's not singing. Andreas! Oh, it's wonderful to see you again. How have things been for you in Nuremberg? I've actually been in Paris recently. I'm not looking forward to going back to Nuremberg. Ah, well, it's good to see you in any case. Forgive me for asking, but how did you find the music in Paris? Beautiful. Motets and chansons were quite popular. I think you'd quite like it. I believe I would, thank you. Perhaps if God blesses us, we may see some of those compositions before long. I love our music, of course, but I'm interested in what is being created across Christendom. I suppose you came to pay your respects to Brother Piero. I'm so sorry, Andreas. He was a wonderful man and a faithful servant of Christ. He was my friend and teacher. Well, despite the occasion, it's good to see you again. God bless you, Andreas. Matthew. God bless you, Andreas. Indeed. Andreas Mahler, how wonderful to see you. Have you been well? Well enough, yes? Good. You look healthy. What brings you back here? I wanted to pay my respects to Brother Piero. Ah, of course. I'm sorry, Andreas. I know it's a small consolation, but he lived a long life with little pain. He died quite suddenly during Lauds. He was well loved by everyone here, even those who might pretend otherwise. I'm sure he appreciates the gesture. As for your visit, I cannot speak with the abbot's authority, but you are always welcome company. Quanto è buono il tuo italiano? How good is your Italian? E non è troppo male. It's not too bad. I've been reading every Italian medical text Klaus Drucker can get his hands on. Really? How many is that? Oh, I haven't counted, but many. Leoniceano's text on the French disease, which might have been helpful for the Baron all those years ago. The Fasciculus Medicinae, a new printing from Venice. Wonderful woodcuts. Oh, the Flower of Medicine from Salerno. Did you know they've translated it into Hebrew? Occitan? Imagine that. Imagine a peasant in the fields of Provence reading the medical wisdom of Salerno. Ah, so now he's got the printed text. Because he's more well-read. I feel like this might be rude. Like, he might take it as being sarcastic, which I don't want to be a dickhead. It's truly remarkable. What a wonder these books are. Ah, I got carried away. Anyway, it's good to see you, Andreas. Until later. Until then. Wonder if we'll get more of these locations, like anything happening in them in this next act. The abbot's dog is still alive as well. Good stuff. Wow, doesn't even have anything to say about letting me back in. God bless you, Andreas. Welcome back to Kiersau. What brings you back to the Abbey? I'm returning to Nuremberg, but wanted to pay my respects to Brother Pierre on my way. Oh, of course. His grave is well kept, I assure you. Thank you, Brother Václav. I'm glad to hear it. Will you be staying in Tassing long enough for the St. John's Eve festival? It may be simple compared to those in the cities, but everyone in Tassing looks forward to it. Really? Master Andreas, can we? That's really only an extra day or two, why not? Yes, thank you, Master. I'm sure it's quite quaint compared to what you're used to, but it's one of Tassing's biggest events. Anyway, I'd better get back to work. It's good to see you again, Andreas. God bless you. God bless you, Brother Václav. Lucas looks the same. God bless you, Master Malar. God bless you, Brother Lucas. How have you been? Still working in the kitchen? Yes, I'm still assisting Brother Václav. I've been making more complex dinners recently for Father Gurno. The rest of the brothers eat simpler fare, but the abbot has the privilege of foods from around the world. Tell me about what you've been cooking. Well, Brother Václav has shown me how to roast quail and baste it with butter to keep it soft. And I help Sister Gertrude when she goes to the forest sometimes. She's been teaching me about herbs. What are you doing now? Oh, Brother Václav sent me to collect something for him, but I can't remember what it was. Something from the cellar, perhaps? Probably. There's so much in there, though. Maybe if I bring back a few onions, he'll be happy. We always need more onions. I'll leave you to it, then. Or I'll go into the cellar, find it. Oh. A mouse. And a cat. Very good. You know, I have to do it. I shouldn't do it, but I gotta do it. Might be important later, when the cat helps us solve the murder. Are Adok's still alive? Hello? Who is this? It's Andreas, Brother Adok. Andreas Mahler. Oh. Oh, Andreas, the fine young artist from Nuremberg. You flatter me. Your art flattered my writing. Yours and Brother Piero's both, God rest his soul. It is a blessing to work with talents such as yours and Piero's. And Gabriel, and Rupert, and Sister Michaela and the nuns helped us with our labors. So many years of toil, they are all gone now. I pray they are all at rest with the Lord. Soon I will be gone, then Brother Guy, and all that will remain of us are our books. But enough of that. How have you been, Andreas? Successful in body, if not in spirit? I'm sorry, Andreas. Dreams of youth often do not survive the march of years. But take heart that the Lord is always here for us in times of sorrow. You seem more at ease now than when I was last here. Do I? Maybe so. I may have worked in the scriptorium beyond the limits of this body. It pained my joints and strained my brotherly love for Guy. The scriptorium took my sight and the use of my hands, but when it closed, it also took the pain from my heart. The abbot is content to let me serve the Lord through prayer and contemplation, and so it also contents me. Sorry, Andreas, but I must rest now. It is good to hear your voice at Kearsall again. God bless you. God bless you, Brother Adog. Mother Cecilia, 1463 to 1522. The headstone is well made. Her family must have commissioned it. Brother Piero, 1450 to 1525. Rest in peace, my old friend. Oh, Master Andreas. It's been so long. It's good to see you, Brother Fulbert. How are you? I'm well. I'm a monk now. Brother Lucas, too. I still do the same work, but now I have the same robes as the other brothers. Has the abbot been treating you well? Yes, he has. The work is hard, but I am happy. That's good to hear. I'll leave you to your work, brother. God bless you, Master Andreas. Now that we've run all over creation, we can finally go to the scriptorium. The scriptorium fell into disrepair quickly after Father Garno closed the library. Greetings, Master Mahler. Hello, Sister Zdena. You're looking like a real artist now. I'm impressed. You must be living like a lord. Yes, but overburdened with problems. I've no time for my own art, only that of my patrons. How dreadful. At least you can choose your patrons and do what vocation you please. Why don't you like living at Kearsall, sister? I'm not like you, Andreas. I never chose this life. My family couldn't marry me off to anyone of higher rank, so they donated to the abbey. The amount was substantial enough for the abbey to take me in as a nun. I was forced to take the habit. I loved my life before Kearsall. At least you chose your vocation. I was shoved into mine and forgotten. And here you are, muttering as though you aren't the most successful person in Tassin right now. I had no idea. I'm sorry. You're lucky to have the life you do, Andreas Mahler. You men can become whatever you like. While I, a woman of noble birth, am forever stuck sitting with crones and old men. I've accepted a lot these past years, but I can't ever be as perfect as Illuminata. Still, it's better than it was. I should return to my duties. Thank you for speaking with me, Andreas Mahler. Till later, Sister Zidane. There she is. God bless you, Andreas. It has been too long. I know Father Abbot made it clear you were not to return when you left. We had hoped to hear from you. Yes, my apologies. You're right, of course. It's good to see you again, Mother Illuminata. This is my apprentice, Caspar Ziegler from Salzburg. God bless you, Mother Superior. God bless you, young Caspar. Master Mahler. Sister Zidane. I'm sorry you have to see it in such a state. It sees very little use these days. What happened? After Baron Rothvogel's murder, we had fewer and fewer wealthy patrons. The small number that helped out lost interest. It's easier to commission new work from the Guild of St. Luke, or individual masters in big cities like Nuremberg. Father Gerno saw no reason to keep the scriptorium or library open. Most of the books here have been suffering of neglect. After Mother Cecilia's death, neither I nor Sister Zidane have had the time to maintain our inventory. That's terrible. Kiersau was one of the last monastic scriptoria in Bavaria. As Brother Piero was fond of saying, all things change in time. Now all that remains are books for sale to interested parties, a task that Father Gerno has entrusted to me. And Sister Zidane, of course. I don't even know where to start. Master Andreas, maybe you could find a book for little Magdalene, something that's not in print yet. Excellent idea, Caspar. Parzival. Perhaps Klaus would not object to this romance, given its emphasis on Christian virtues. The German is a little dated, but I'm sure she'll figure it out with Klaus's help. Who knows? Maybe it will inspire her imagination. Huh. I think these are Latin translations of some of Origen's homilies. Also, it looks like it's partially burned. Probably not a great gift for a young girl. Wait. This is the same bookhand as the notes I found when the Baron was murdered. Whoever wrote this is responsible for writing the notes. I need to ask Illuminata about this. A copy of Jacobus de Vorgain's Golden Legend. Every good Christian should know the legends of the saints. And the Latin is simple enough that you should be able to read it before long. Oh. Richard de Bury's Philobiblon. It's a text on the collection and preservation of books. Maybe this is where Illuminata and Cecilia learned all their tricks. Certainly a good book for a printer's daughter. Albertus Magnus's De Animalibus. It's ostensibly a bestiary, but it contains so much more knowledge on a variety of topics. This could inspire an interest in animals in the natural world. Beautiful illustrations as well. Have you decided on any books to purchase? Yes, just one. Interesting. We'll go with this one, because it has the illustrations. It contains a wealth of knowledge. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Klaus Drucker's daughter, Magdalene, well. The Latin may pose a challenge to her, but I'm sure with some persistence she can overcome it. Is there anything else you need? Yes, Mother Illuminata, what do you know about this book? I don't know anything. This is the first time I've seen it. Where did you find it? I've seen it on one of the lower shelves. I don't think it's in our catalog. It has to be from another Bavarian scriptorium, probably in the last century. It's burned around the edges. Why? How can I find out where it came from? Who wrote it? If it's not in our catalog, I'm afraid I don't know whom you could ask. If it was a recent edition, the only people who would know are Mother Cecilia and Father Matthias. That's a shame, because whoever scribed this book wrote the letters I found while investigating the Baron's murder. The ones in the fine book hand. Brother Adolf told me about them. Perhaps he knows something about this book. He's been here longer than any of us. Why would the person who wrote the letters have scribed a book in our library? Well, that's the question. Whoever did it is the thread puller. Huh? Someone who was manipulating people at Kirsau and Tassing, pulling at threads to provoke someone into killing the Baron. I thought one of the brothers killed the Baron. He did, but the Baron was lured to the chapter house by someone who knew Kirsau and Tassing's secrets. Well, I'm afraid we can't be of any more help to you in determining the book's provenance. However, as it's not in our catalog, and it's already damaged, I doubt Father Abbot would mind if you kept it. Excellent. Thank you. I'm glad someone bothered to save it from the flames. Wish we could kind of jump to the new entries. Oh, there's still another one. Okay, I think that's all for now. We've just bought the book, and we need to eat with the Druckers later on. And I need to take a break, so I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Pentiment.